What if I know I'm meant to be an entrepreneur but don't know what my business should be? There is nothing that your business should be. Your business is what you would like it to be. Imagination is my number one business tool. But I am not in a place now where I sit down and go into my imagination for 5 minutes and visualize. I am living as the imagined version of me. I had seen, other successful people who were getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And they were like doing their morning routine up that early, going to the gym. And I thought, okay, well, I guess you got to get up at 4 a.m. to be successful. And then I started to question that. I said, who said? According to who? Why can't I sleep till 7:30 and still be successful? Why can't that be true? I'll never forget when I was in the middle of my growth journey and I was ascending and I was making more money and my business was growing. And Bob says to me, action is required, it is necessary. You cannot build a successful business. You cannot make an impact in this world unless you're willing to act, unless you're willing to move towards, right? So I talk about the dual forces. This is in my first book, Becoming the One. This is something that I started to understand for myself in my first year in business, that there's dual forces. There's two forces that are happening at the same time, right? So I'm focusing on my consciousness, I'm focusing on vibration and on frequency, and I'm letting it all come to me. I'm turning my magnet on and I'm like, okay, here we go, bring it all in. But then I also have to move towards it, right? I have to be an active participant in my life. I have to do the things that a successful business owner does. Now, many of the things that you think successful business owners have to do are not true, right? So I'm not staying up all night stressed out to the max. I'm not in meetings 24 hours a day. I'm not so busy that you can never get a hold of me. I'm not stressed out. I'm not hustling. The old version of me, for sure. I remember I first started in my business and I had seen, other successful people who were getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And they were like doing their morning routine up that early, going to the gym. And I thought, okay, well, I guess you got to get up at 4 a.m. to be successful. And then I started to question that. I said, who said? According to who? Why can't I sleep till 7:30 and still be successful? Right? Like, why can't that be true? And then that's true. And then I even said, what if I can be a billionaire and sleep till noon? Now, I don't want to do that. I love getting up 6:37. But is it possible for you to be a billionaire and sleep till noon? Yes. Actually, when you have billions of dollars, you don't have to do too much. Right? Yeah. And that's the goal here, isn't it? The goal isn't to create a business where you are completely strapped to the max, super, super busy, on calls all day, every single day. That is not freedom. Freedom is not hustling 24 hours a day, working 24/7. Like, I can never get a hold of you. She's so busy. She's on calls. No. People say, you must be so busy. I don't want to bother you. And I'm like, at the spa. I've created a life where busy isn't the dominant feeling anymore. It's not the dominant pattern because I'm using the dual forces. I'm drawing it all to me and then I'm taking action towards it. So I am certainly moving towards, I have that dual forces. What do I call that? Inspired action. So let the dual forces into your life, let them work for you, but then take inspired action. Inspired means what? In spirit, right? Okay, I'll give you an example of inspired action. So when I first launched my coaching business, I started doing webinars. I saw somebody doing a webinar and I was like, okay, I'm going to do a webinar. And so I got this software, I recorded this I made this PowerPoint presentation. I spent hours and hours and hours creating this PowerPoint presentation. And I did a voiceover of it. And then I advertised it and I had people come on and I played it webinar style. And then I got off and I went, I couldn't see anybody's face. I didn't really even know who was there. Wasn't interactive in any way. The PowerPoint presentation I thought was kind of boring. People couldn't really connect with me and my energy, and it just didn't feel right. And so I just sat back and I said, okay, God, show me the way. Show me the way that I can impact people in a way that feels really, really good for me. Show me the path. And so I sat back and I just let it be. I said, you know what? I will find the way. It will come to me. It will show up. And not even a few days later, this woman that was one of my very first students who was starting to do some virtual assistant work for me on the side. I think she was doing maybe like 3 hours a week at this time. She came to me and she said, I just saw this woman doing a 5-day launch for her coaching business. And I went, oh, 5 days, tell me more. And so I had her just give me a quick overview. She said, well, she teaches for 5 days, an hour, 5 days in a row. She puts everybody into a Facebook group. And then she just does it that way. And I went, I love this. Said, okay, let's do it. Took inspired action. I did not then go study her strategy and, copy it and all that kind of stuff. I just went 5 1-hour lessons. Let's go. And so I did it in my own way. I taught my own material. I made my own name for the event. It wasn't even an event then. I wouldn't even call it an event. I called it a launch. I was like, okay, I'm going to go do this. And then that first launch that we did, that's when I had my first $100,000 month. Surpassed $100,000 in that first 5-day live event, being inspired by an idea and taking action towards it. And the reason why I believe it was so successful is because it resonated with me in the way that I want to do things. So to be on Zoom and to be able to see everybody's face and engage with them in the chat box and to be able to answer questions and talk, it worked for me in the way that I like to teach. And then I didn't need to do a PowerPoint presentation. So this is where it's about following the clues in the consciousness of who you'd like to be. Now, if you're someone who does not like doing things in a certain way and someone else is doing it in that way, you're not going to be inspired to do it. You're going to do it because you feel like you need to do it because so-and-so is doing it that way. That's not where it came from. It came from this inspired feeling of, I love this. I'm going to do that. This is amazing. Yes, I'm going to do that. Yeah, following the clues. Imagination is my number one business tool. But I am not in a place now where I sit down and go into my imagination for 5 minutes and visualize. I am living as the imagined version of me. It's only imagined because I haven't yet observed it. But as soon as I start behaving as the imagined version of me, I've brought imagination into physical 3D world. It's a practice between observing your 3D physical world, seeing what you're seeing, not falling for it, and moving according to the imagined reality instead. Not many of you are willing to do this. You've been taught not to. You've been taught to follow what you see. You've actually been taught to follow the fear, which is what? An imagined idea. So you're just about to make an investment in your business. It's big. It's the biggest investment that you've ever made in your business. You're thinking about doing it right now. Okay? So you're seeing your observed world. You're seeing where your business is at. And you're like, yes, you know what? I think I'm ready. I think I'm going to start doing it. Then what happens? You start going, oh, well, what if I don't make the money back? What if my business doesn't grow? What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't finish it? What if I actually don't follow through? What did I just do? I accessed my imagination. That's not real. The fear's not real. So I'm literally going into my imagination and I'm saying, I'm going to make real and true the opposite of what I want. When all you had to do was go the other way. All you had to do is go, no, actually, it always works out for me in my favor. I finish everything that I complete. This is the best investment that I ever made in my business history. The outcome is a 10x in my business. And so it is. Thank you, God. And then make the investment. But instead, you've now moved over and you've chose to pull from the imagination the negative outcome. And then you act in the assumption of the negative outcome. So you've made the fear real and you've now manifested the very outcome that you are choosing to manifest from the imagined space. So you're doing it anyway. You're just doing it the wrong way. And it's wrong because it's not what you want. So you either are going towards what you want and using your imagination for good, or you're allowing fear to come in and take you to the other direction. If you believe it's going to take a long time for you to imagine your life and to be able to be a master at imagination, that's what's going to happen for you. It's going to take you a long time. We all have it. It's just a practice. You can do it today. What if you believed that your imagination is your number one business tool, that you are a master at imagination, you are the most creative human to have ever existed, you're the most powerful manifester to have ever existed, everything you think about you get, everything you imagine you realize, and so it is. It's not hard. It's not hard. Your mind is going to tell you it's hard. It is not hard. It is easy. Let it be easy. Let it be easy. What if I know I'm meant to be an entrepreneur but don't know what my business should be? There is nothing that your business should be. Your business is what you would like it to be. It's a choice. Remember, active participant in your life. What would you love to do? What is your zone of genius? What is your passion? What do you love? Make a business out of that. We put too much pressure on it. We're trying to get somebody to show us the way, somebody to tell us what to do. You do not need permission, and you can give yourself permission to do, be, and have whatever you want. How do I choose? Look at us. We're trying to ask how to make a choice. That is how disconnected from our own intuition, our own inner guidance system we are. We are intuition. We know. But you've been taught to not know. You've been taught, I don't know. And so because you've been taught to not know, you ignore the very knowing that is within you. So you know. Just remember that you know. And it's never an either or, it's an and. So if you have two passions, do one, then do the other. Which one feels good to go first? Whichever your intuition tells you. The dual forces, inspired action, the art of expansion. Okay? The art of expansion. This is the most important part of business. The art of expansion is different. The art of expansion is about awareness. It's about awakening. It's about truth. It is about leaving the matrix behind, no longer fitting into a box, no longer fitting into a mold. And it is about choosing growth and expansion in every conversation, in every action you take, in every moment of your life. One of the things that I hear all the time, and I find it so interesting, it's not a belief that I will ever have, is I'm going to take a break from courses and programs right now. Oh, really? You're going to take a break from expanding? No. There's no break. It's who I am. So I'm always looking for who's the next mentor, who's the next coach, who's the next course, who's the next program. What is the next piece of me that is going to expand and grow next? I have had so many incredible people support me over the past 5 years. Has every single investment been one that I'm like, oh, I would do that again? No. But did it expand me? Yes. Even one investment, it was $85,000 into a 1-year investment. I went to one event and that $85,000 was completely worth it to go to that one event to know that it's not for me. Did I ask for a refund? Did I blame it on the person, the individual? No, because I grew. It was an investment that I made. So for me, I will always grow. My life before mentorship is very different than after mentorship. When I am truly 100% in my grandest version of me, I'm willing to be mentored. I'm willing to ask for help. I'm willing to be supported. And the feeling that you need to do it alone, you can't get help, it's not the art of expansion. The most successful people in the world, they have coaches, they have mentors, they take courses, programs, part of masterminds, right? This is growth. This is the art of expansion. And I can't talk about how I quantum leaped my life and how I manifested the experience that I've had without talking about the importance of mentorship. And it's not a weakness, it's strength. And so I've talked about every mentor that I've ever had. I publicly discuss who I've learned. I publicly discuss who has supported me and who has helped me. And does every single person that I've learned from make more money than me? No, they do not. But do they have an awareness that I do not have? Yes, they do. That's the key, right? I cannot see everything. Mentorship helps you to move faster, to do it in a supported way, to see what you can't see. I look at it as, I say this about Bob all the time, is like Bob blazed a trail that I was able to run down. Like if he didn't blaze that trail, it would have been a mess. It would have been rough. It would have been covered in grass, and I wouldn't have been able to go as quickly as I did. So mentorship is a key part of this, and it's the art of expansion. So that is one thing that truly, if you do want your business to grow, is to continue to expand, continue to take courses, continue to do all of the things. And if you're someone that has a business, or you'd like to have a business, and you are only ever doing free things, notice why you're only willing to learn for free. There's an energy there. There's a belief there. There's an understanding there. So for me, it was like, okay, yeah, well, it's free. I really don't want to pay for it. So why would I not just get the free stuff that's available to me? And I went from that to, oh, I can't wait until I pay $1 million to be coached by someone. I want to be the woman that has $1 million to pay someone to coach me. A coach that I know received $1 million tip. Imagine being the person who can tip someone $1 million. I want to be that. If you don't have the capacity to invest right now, it doesn't mean that you can't invest, right? It means you've just got to grow to get to that investment point. Because to say that each and every one of you are at the same level, at the same moment, with the same capacity, isn't realistic. We're all on our own journeys. And so I want to be able to support all of you in your journey where you're at in the moment that you're there, but help you to ascend into the next one, right? But there's going to be some of you that are at a point where you are ready for that next level growth. I went through that process where the investments started smaller and then I moved up. And I'll never forget. So if you're listening right now and you're hearing this, and I've said this to you, this is very intentional, and it's for your growth. I'll never forget when I was in the middle of my growth journey and I was ascending and I was making more money and my business was growing. And Bob says to me, I'm launching a new course, Kathleen, and I want you to take it and I want you to pay in full for it. And I went, uh-oh, I don't know how much it's going to be. He wants me to pay in full. I haven't done that. He wants me to sign up. And I thought, okay, what is he telling me this for? Why is he saying this? From a growth perspective, from an ascension perspective, what does he want me to do? He wants me to expand into that version of myself that pays in full a higher amount of money. That was a very uncomfortable investment for me, but I trusted him as my mentor and I said yes. If you hear me say that to you, it's time for you to move to this. It's time for you to pay in full. It's time for this. It's because it's in your growth to do so. And so it would be in my ego to not say it to you if I know that it's true. This is the art of expansion. This is the importance of mentorship. This is the importance of personal growth and development. And to move up from free content to paid content is the most beautiful shift in your growth and awareness. To go from payment plans to pay in full, shift in your growth and awareness. And to go from investing 5 figures to investing 6 figures to investing 7 figures is growth in your journey. And it's who we want to become. So I don't want you to keep some of those investments away. I want you to be open to the possibility of the potentiality of you one day making that investment into yourself and what that would be like. Keep that door wide open. Wide open.